Coming up next on Eyewitness News Live on 5, the future of the Gateway project is on the line today. We'll have a live report.
A routine drug bust turns into an all-out gunfight. We'll show you some dramatic pictures. And
Milli Vanilli has more trouble. This time it's a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Those stories and more coming up next live on 5.
Cleveland's live 24-hour news source continues. This is Eyewitness News live on 5 with Wilma Smith, Roy Weisinger, and the Eyewitness News team.
Good evening. 7 months of hard work has come down to today.
This could be the most important day yet for the $345 million Gateway project.
We're waiting for a signature from the owners of the Cleveland Indians on a piece of paper for a lease on the baseball stadium. That signature is a key to the next step of long process to get Gateway built. In other news tonight, in the back of all the minds of all of the planners at Gateway is the truckload of paperwork that has yet to fly. Gateway planners have essentially crammed years of work into the last 6 months, and now they're facing a steep decline.
That deadline is, of course, the end of this year. Rebecca Shaw tells us why the financing is so complex and why Gateway planners will not be having a relaxed holiday.
This is the image we have all come to associate with the Gateway project, a gleaming mock-up of a new stadium complex. But not everyone sees it this way. I talked with one of the attorneys working on the Gateway prospectus in the National City Bank building this afternoon, who was so buried by the weight of the prospectus, he could spare me about 45 seconds of time on the phone. He thinks of Gateway and he thinks of paperwork.
Got to get a deal with the Indians, got to go to Tokyo, got approved over there, got to come back to the printers here, the lawyers here have to go over all that, and then they got to get them out. Well, technically, the Federal Internal Revenue Service tax exemption stated that these things were going to be sold before New Year's.
Can it be done? David Bowers thinks probably so, but only if the Indians' lease is wrapped up and soon. Most of us aren't aware of all the detail involved here, all the simultaneous goings-on. But as an example, the Indians' lease alone could run 40 pages. In addition, the IRS has to be satisfied. The state of Ohio security laws have to be addressed. The prospectus has to be printed. The banks have to give the green light, all before the revenue bonds can even be put on the market, and that's before December 31st. Will they finally sell? Probably. Bowers says there's a glut of tax-free municipal bonds on the market right now, but they are still generally regarded as a good investment. Will the recession factor in?
If they were taxing home sales or automobile sales, you'd worry about the business cycle. Beer and cigarettes may even go up.
One final reassuring note, I'm told that the attorneys and the bankers and the financiers involved all have a vested interest in getting this thing done. They don't get their money unless the deal flies, kind of like a real estate agent. So if it can be done in the next few weeks, by golly, it will be done. Rebecca Shaw, Eyewitness News.
Now, one question that is often asked is, could we get an extension on the December 31st deadline? The answer to that is a flat no. Since the original deadline was set by Congress, it would literally take an act of Congress to get an extension, and Congress is in no mood to grant one. Other cities in similar positions have lobbied for extension rights but have failed miserably.
Well, Alan DePietro is downtown right now, and he has been watching the Gateway negotiations very closely. And Alan, bring us up to date. Where do they stand now?
We're basically in the Huntington building on the main floor, Roy, and we're waiting for the executive director of the Gateway Corporation, Tom Chema, who is the key point man on all these negotiations since last May. We're waiting for him to come back here and tell us if indeed we do have an agreement with the Indians and the Jacobs brothers, a memorandum of understanding for a lease for the Indian Stadium at the Gateway. But so far, we're still waiting for him to come back here. The Indians and Gateway have apparently